Single dad lost a bet and had to live with an obese girl. What happened next changed everything. The night everything shattered began with a storm, violent wind, broken promises, and a single father who believed he had nothing left to lose. Daniel stood outside the dimly lit community center, drenched in rain, replaying the stupid bet that had dragged him here. One bet, one moment of frustration, and suddenly he was bound to live for 3 months with a girl he barely knew, a girl the neighborhood often mocked for her size, calling her names he could never repeat. He didn't care what she looked like. What scared him was the weight of responsibility on a man who was already drowning. And yet, as he watched her step out of the doorway, clutching her suitcase, trembling from more than just the cold, he realized this storm wasn't the beginning of disaster. It was the beginning of something neither of them could have predicted. Backhand index pointing right before the story continues. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the beauty of human change, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to KH Stories. Your support keeps these stories alive. Daniel was a man worn down by life, raising his young son, Liam, alone after losing his wife to illness, juggling work shifts that left him exhausted, and carrying guilt that clung to his heart like a shadow. The bet was supposed to be harmless. Some neighbors had joked that Daniel was becoming too closed off, too cold, and needed to open his home once in a while. He laughed it off, saying he could live with anyone and show them kindness if he had to. They dared him. He accepted. And the moment he lost, they introduced him to Maya, a 19-year-old girl whose parents had moved abroad, leaving her behind under the care of an aunt who didn't want her. Daniel didn't know her story, only the whispers. She ate too much. She talked too little. She took up too much space in every way. But the first thing Daniel noticed wasn't her size. It was the unbearable sadness in her eyes. The early days were painfully quiet. Maya walked like someone expecting to be scolded, apologizing for breathing too loudly, eating too slowly, taking up room in the living area. Daniel didn't know how to help. He wasn't good at emotional conversations, and every day he still woke up expecting to see his wife smile. Liam, however, was different. He was 7, full of curiosity, and he didn't see people the way adults did. To him, Maya was simply new, someone who could draw well, someone who knew how to fix hair, someone who told the softest bedtime stories. Slowly, Maya stopped hiding behind oversized hoodies. She began cooking small meals, helping around the house, even laughing cautiously at the cartoons Liam loved. But late at night, when she thought no one could hear her, she still cried, quiet, broken sobs that cut Daniel in ways he didn't understand. As weeks passed, Daniel began noticing things. Maya barely ate in front of others, saving meals for late at night when everyone slept, chewing quietly like she was afraid even the sound would offend someone. She wore clothes that hid her shape, not because she was ashamed of herself, but because years of bullying had convinced her she didn't deserve to be seen. One day, Daniel walked into the living room and saw her sketchbook left open by accident. Page after page was filled with drawings of people, thin, happy, beautiful people, living the life she thought she never could. At the back, one page stood alone, a drawing of herself, surrounded by cruel words scribbled in the margins, words she had clearly heard too many times. That was the night something shifted inside Daniel. He had lost a bet, but Maya had lost her belief that she deserved kindness. Life continued and the house grew warmer. Maya became part of the rhythm of their days. She helped Liam with homework, read books with Daniel during evenings when exhaustion pulled at him, and slowly, almost invisibly, her confidence grew. One morning, Daniel found her cooking breakfast while humming a soft tune, something he'd never seen or heard before. But progress wasn't linear. Bad days still came, days when Maya couldn't get out of bed because she felt too heavy for the world, days when cruel comments from neighbors sliced open old wounds. Daniel found himself becoming protective, frustrated at how blind people could be. He started walking her to the bus stop, telling her the things he wished someone had told him during his own grief. That pain doesn't define you, that being different isn't being wrong, that healing is not a race. As the 3 months neared their end, Daniel felt a knot forming in his stomach. He knew Maya's aunt would take her back once the bet was over, but the idea of her returning to that cold, loveless environment felt like betrayal. Meanwhile, Maya had begun smiling more, cooking meals for the family, taking small steps outside without fear, even wearing colors instead of her usual dark clothing. One evening, during dinner, Liam looked up at Daniel and asked, "Is Maya leaving soon?" "I don't want her to." Maya froze, and Daniel felt something crack. He realized then that Maya had become part of their home, not because of a bet, but because she brought warmth, empathy, and a quiet resilience that healed more than just herself. But just as things began to settle, life struck hard. One afternoon, Maya overheard two neighbors gossiping loudly, saying Daniel only tolerated her because he had to and that no one would ever choose to have her around. The words broke whatever confidence she had built. She packed her bags that night, leaving a note saying she didn't want to burden them anymore. When Daniel discovered it, panic consumed him. He ran through the rain, searching for her, heart pounding as memories of losing his wife surged back. He eventually found her sitting alone at the bus stop, drenched, shivering, and crying as silently as she had on the day they first met. In that moment, Daniel didn't think. He simply walked toward her, knelt in front of her, and placed his trembling hand over hers, not with pity but with something deeper, understanding, recognition, and the unspoken truth that she mattered. Maya returned home with him, and for the first time she didn't cry silently. She let every broken piece spill out, every insult she had endured, every moment she felt unworthy, every fear that Daniel and Liam would be happier without her. And for the first time, Daniel let his walls fall too. He told her she wasn't a burden, that she had brought life back into their home, that she had become family not because of obligation, but because of who she was. Healing wasn't immediate, but the honesty between them made space for growth. Daniel began supporting her dreams of becoming an artist,